The trip through the Northeast had been like a visit to my childhood. The fall colors so vibrant, the air so crisp, farm stands selling apples, cider, pumpkins, and other produce. The environment so hauntingly familiar. Yet it was all as if it had happened in another lifetime. I hadn't been back this way in years. The trip across Maine had felt like I was leaving one life and entering the next. The environment was so different from California, where I'd lived for the last 15 years. I loved California, but I was glad to be home. And now I stood at the gate across the driveway to my new house, one hand on the wrought iron, and stared. There was no way this was the right place. For one, it was huge. I couldn't imagine the amount of money I had paid would have even covered the land. Two, it was, well, a mansion. I took my hand from the gate and dug my knuckles into my eyes. My realtor had taken care of everything for me since I'd been trying to survive, literally, a messy divorce. My ex had gotten away with nearly actual murder, but I'd come away with enough money to buy a house and live for a year, the dogs, their things, and the clothes on my back. Pulling out my phone, I stared at the address and the picture of the house, then back at the address on the rusty old mailbox next to the gate. They matched. Well, this explains the giant key. I held up the actual old-fashioned key ring that had come with the paperwork and selected the biggest key. Maybe this should have been my first clue that something weird was going on. I'd selected Cliffside because it was not too far from my childhood home. It was near Arcadia, and I could afford a house there. The gate opened with a metallic shriek of protest. I got back in the car and drove up to the house, leaving the gate open behind me. Creek and Shiner whined from their kennels in the back of the van. "Almost time, buddies. Almost time." They'd always traveled well, and they'd seemed to enjoy this trip immensely. With all the stops on the way that we'd taken to explore and reconnect with a life that didn't involve watching everything I said or did for fear of reprisal, but we were ready for some rest from the time on the road.